Hello, my friends. It is August 22nd, 2018, 2:30 p.m. And you know what? Things are just getting crazier and crazier on this planet, especially around the Pacific Ring. 6.2 earthquake off the coast of Oregon, 175 miles from Coast Bay. This is a very significant earthquake, guys. This was 10 kilometers deep, very shallow. Came with a tsunami warning. Now, I've actually looked into the tsunami warning part of this. They don't even have it listed on the charts right now, so I'm not sure of the situation. This was 5:31 a.m. I'm not sure if this time was actually 5:31 a.m. Oregon time, which would make it 3 hours farther ahead on the East Coast. So that would be 8:30 a.m. I'm sure there's videos out there about this quake, but this is very significant to be this close to the U.S. coast, Pacific Ocean, right on that rim that we look at, that fault line that you can always see on Google Earth. You zoom into Google Earth here. This is basically where that earthquake was, right here along this stone step. It almost looks like fault line. So yet again, we are having major seismic activity along the Ring of Fire, the Pacific Ring. We are dealing with Hurricane Lane, Category 5 storm. Guys, they've registered gusts of this storm up to 190 plus miles an hour, and it is hooking north. There is no doubt about it. This storm is moving north. I have some loops pulled up for you that we're going to look at right now. This is all current. I'll take that last frame out so it doesn't flash. But you can clearly see this thing is starting now to hook its way up. Now, in my estimation, I don't like making predictions because I don't want to give out information that would cause someone to make a wrong decision. I simply like to show you the data and then let you guys see with your own eyes what is being shown. A lot of people, anyone can do this. These sites are all available. I'm going to start putting the links in the description boxes more often because I feel like you guys should check this stuff out on your own as well. But you can clearly see this high pressure that is in the Pacific is letting go, and this thing is starting to move. You can see clearly the eye is moving from here to here. If we were to follow this momentum, it almost looks like it's going to come up in this direction. According to the models, though, this is the beginning of the northern hook. So this thing is expected to come this way and then straight up. So that's what I want to focus on right now, and that is why I'm showing you these loops. Here is a density loop chart that shows you where the strength, the bigger areas of the hurricane with the strongest winds usually stick out about 75 miles from the eye are the strongest of the winds. We got those deep purple colors. You match it with this chart here, and you can see that we are in a very strong area around this eye. This is a big eye. The donut of this hurricane is bigger than the main island of Hawaii, okay? With that said, let's move on. Here is another version of it. You can see that line that shoots across. That is actually daylight coming. It's dark when it's blurry. Right here is darkness. This is the sun coming up, and you can actually see more detail because the sun bounces off the clouds. You could see the eye of this thing, very classic shape, very strong storm, very healthy storm, and it's beginning to make that northern move. So we need, for us, especially those in Hawaii, to prepare for this as if it's going to be a landfall. This is too close to not act as if this thing is going to be a direct hit. Regardless, already these bands are beginning to hit the south side of the Big Island, and it's just going to get worse and worse from here. This thing, whether it makes direct landfall or not, is expected to hook up and then just kind of follow the chain of islands and basically tap every single one of them. Now, the GFS model, this is going to be by Friday at 1 a.m. This is where this thing is expected to be. I'm going to back up to the 22nd. Here's the 22nd right now. So this is basically current time where this storm is, and then you can see, according to the chart, how much of a northern loop this thing makes. And then by Friday, this hurricane is just to the southwest of the Big Island. At this point right now, there will be a lot of wind, a lot of rain, a lot of rough surf on the Big Island as well as these islands here. Just because the hurricane is not touching any of this stuff, that does not mean that it will not cause um, major effects. This is a very, very rare, significant storm. We did have Hector that made a close call and then made its way into typhoon territory, but then to have a second storm, Hurricane Lane, doing a very similar pattern, but this time almost guaranteeing some sort of landfall within the islands of Hawaii is just, it's just adding to all this stuff that is going on in the world that a lot of people don't know about because they are not talking about this on TV a lot. They are not stressing this. And again, in my opinion, this is more important than anything. Our weather controls our lives. It controls everything we do as a human race. Um, and that's that. Like we need to know or have a basic knowledge of weather, and that is why this channel exists. I will be dipping into other topics. I do news stuff. It's just been hard to do it. I've been a lot going on between work with my girlfriend and I, Caroline. We do work a lot of hours and we try to keep up with this channel as much as we can. We do have a little more time on our hands, so I'm going to be making more and more videos. But with that said, guys, very serious situations going on. This is not normal. 165 knots we got going on right now. We're pushing 180 something mile an hour sustained winds with this storm. Now it will weaken as it approaches the islands, but that does not matter because the storm is so big and so wide that even if it doesn't make a landfall, it's the islands are just so small that it's impossible for there to not be effects. So those of you that live on these islands, I'm sure there's not a single person on these islands that does not know about this situation by now. All I can tell you is that you need to listen to your local weather. You need to listen to evacuation messages from those local news stations, and prepare. I mean, you saw pictures yesterday, people buying water, you know, the typical thing that people do when they think hurricanes are coming. This is a different scenario, guys. This hurricane is coming. This isn't a matter of it could turn left, it could turn right. It doesn't matter anymore. This thing is already moving in a northern direction. There is no chance at all that this will not affect every island of Hawaii. So I don't like being dramatic about this, but when it comes to stuff like this, guys, this is why I do this stuff. You can see here the GFS model literally has this storm 957. That is just unbelievable. That's category 5. We did hit category 5 with this storm. Like I said, we pushed almost 200-mile-an-hour winds at one point with this storm. And the GFS literally has this thing hooking up right into Maui. And that does not mean that Maui is the only place going to be affected. The entire south and west side of the Big Island will absolutely feel big effects from this hurricane if the GFS model stays true. The European model is almost in total agreement with this as well. It's a little bit more spotty. They don't give you as many frames. They do have the storm's pressure a little bit weaker, but they are all showing the same thing. This thing is going to make a dramatic north hook that is because of the pressure being released in the Pacific Ocean that was forcing this storm down for so long. It is releasing. The storm is moving north. There's no doubt about it, and that's what we have to look out for. So guys, anyone on the islands, please just prepare. Make your arrangements to get to whatever safety areas you need to get to. We have until about Friday until this thing will be at its peak as far as what it's going to do to the islands. It's just one of those situations where this is such a tight-knit area that one hurricane, no matter what, will affect every coast of this island. I mean, it's so big that even northern coasts, even though the storm is underneath, will have some effects from this. So it's almost like, you know, some people have nowhere to go, and that's a scary thought to me. I hate putting myself in that mindset with some people that live in this area, and I wish that I could do more to help besides put this information out, and just say prayers for you guys. You guys are in my thoughts. Me and Caroline have been talking about this all day long. I've been talking about it with my parents. It's just a very rare situation. It's been a long, long time since we've had to deal with a hurricane of this magnitude that's going to affect a part of the U.S. And you know what? It's sad but true. But when things like this happen, it seems like all of a sudden people start to care. And then once this storm is gone, it's going to be like it never happened, And then all our friends here in Hawaii are left with the cleanup and the mess to deal with, and the rest of the mainland of the U.S. moves on with their lives. So that's unfortunate, but it's just the way this world works, unfortunately. Now, again, back to this earthquake from Oregon, guys. This is just to show you that the Pacific Ring is really active right now, whether that's because of a planet alignment, whether it's because we're going through a different type of Earth cycle that we have not experienced yet, but to have an 8.0 earthquake or 8.3 earthquake in the Fiji area, and then have follow-up 6.7, 6.8s, even 7.0s that deep is not a good sign. All that's telling me is that there's going to be more activity, just even shallower, which will cause more damage. It's stronger. Now, if you picture yourself in an 8.3 earthquake when it's 350 miles deep, and you feel that thing to the point where it's like, oh my god, it feels like it's right under my feet, that just gives you an idea of how strong these earthquakes really are. And people don't understand, well, a lot of people don't understand the difference between a 7.0 and an 8.0 is like almost 100 times stronger, or 50 times stronger. I'm not sure of the exact math, but drastic difference between a 7.0 and an 8.0. And now we have to watch this area because of those deep earthquakes. What's going to cause, like, what is going to be the effect of that? Because it doesn't happen for no reason. Not only that, but we are getting small earthquakes still in Hawaii, that is in the path of Hurricane Lane. So I'm sorry I'm jumping around all over the place, guys, but we have just so much going on this planet right now that it's like, the people that do this stuff that I do, and we look at this stuff on a daily basis, and it's mind-boggling to me that there's people out there on the streets that don't even know about this hurricane. And that's what's it's just unfortunate to me, and that's why I do this channel, because I want to spread the awareness of how important weather is, not even when it's serious. It's not about coming on here only when serious things happen. It's about talking about local storms, lightning strikes in a certain area. It's not just about coming on here when there's a significant situation going on. It's about teaching about weather and what to look out for, and knowing what you're seeing, and not having to rely on TV to tell you what to do. I still learn stuff every single day about weather and how it changes and how it does not follow rules. There are certain rules we follow, and a lot of them don't get broken often, but more and more in the past year and a half, 2 years, all I've been seeing is things happening that, according to weather and meteorology, are not supposed to happen. So with that said, enough of my dramatic video here, but guys, you could see with your own eyes what we're dealing with here. 6.5, 7.3, 6.9, 6.8 Fiji. We're talking over a 3-4 day span. These earthquakes, this is just unbelievable. August 18th was our 8.2, 6.3 on the 18th, another 6.3 on the 18th. Usually 6.3s are, that alone is a big story. So you can only imagine how this is almost like freezing people's minds. It's almost like we're getting used to this type of thing, and people aren't taking it seriously when we need to be taking this very seriously. This is not just some random coincidence that's going on here. This is actually some sort of change going on in the earth, or some sort of cycle. There's something causing the Pacific Ring to be this active, and that's the debate. And that's where I kind of stop right there, because I'm not a professional scientist. I'm not a professional meteorologist at all. I have meteorologists in my family. I have that basic knowledge, but all I really want to do is show you guys the info, and I want to warn people when they need to be warned. And when it comes to Hawaii, there is no other option but to tell everybody here you need to prepare for this storm. We're talking massive amounts of rain here. This storm is going to bring, it could be 20 inches of rain on every west coast of these islands here, even inland. Some of these smaller islands, they're so small that the earthquake is 3-4 times the size of them. So, you know what I'm saying? It's just it's one of those situations where if you're not paying attention to this, I don't know what else to tell you. It's just like that. It's that simple. So, all right, guys. With that said, I apologize for the dramatic stuff, but these are dramatic situations, and this is the reality we are dealing with right now. I want to update throughout the day. A couple hours from now, I will have another video out. By Saturday the 25th, this hurricane will more than likely have done the worst that it can do. We will have by this weekend, certainly by the end of the weekend, we will know exactly what this thing did. You could still see there is counterclockwise motion even through Sunday, but when it comes to the actual physical hurricane lane that will break up, there may be some rain in Hawaii and some storms that come after that, but it will be nothing compared to what this hurricane is predicted to bring. And just to touch really quick on these two typhoons that are about to decimate South Korea, North Korea, and Japan at the same time. Typhoon Solik right here, at one point was one of the bigger typhoons we've ever seen in the history of recorded typhoons, next to Typhoon Tip from 1979, which was about half the size of the United States, if you can believe that. And then we have Cimarron right here, which is going to hit Japan at the same time that this is going to hit South Korea and then North Korea. Once you move into Thursday here, you could see Hurricane Solik is just going to be making landfall into South Korea, and then it's going to hook into the border of South and North Korea as Cimarron hits Japan. So this is a double whammy. These storms are going to hit at the exact same time, and then they're going to pass through, and then we have another situation. Both of these storms will be in this bay area here, and then continue to do very much significant damage to these areas on the coast as well. So this is not limited to the United States. This is a very big area that is just showing a lot of action, volcanic action, hurricanes, earthquakes. It's just like, it's seriously out of a movie at this point. So, all right, guys, with that said, I'm going to let you go. That is the update. Right now, we are looking at Thursday, Friday to be the very significant times, the crunch times to be prepared for this storm. And that's it for now. The next update, I will just give you more detail into where this thing is. And then once we get all our friends here in Hawaii updated, then we can maybe move on to some of the U.S. weather, which really takes a back seat compared to what's going on around the world. So I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you all for the amazing comments below, and for those of you that are following this channel on a daily basis. I wish I could be doing this more and more. I wish I could do this full time for you guys, honestly. And every free chance I get, I'm on here researching. That's why I upload from my phone. That's why I upload from laptops, from crappy microphones. Whatever it takes to get the info out, I'm going to do. Hopefully this mic is a little better. I'm getting that cord tomorrow, so we should be good to go from then on. But guys, stay safe, and please be aware of what's going on around you. All these earthquakes are very significant. This Oregon earthquake, very, very significant. Thank you very much for listening, guys. I will be back soon. Take care. Thank you so much.